Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a huge conflict at the heart of our modern world. That constant push for more up against a really old, spiritual call for just enough. We're going to look at how one of the world's most ancient traditions, Islam, offers a pretty profound answer to what you could call our crisis of excess.
So on one side, you've got a culture that's all about external excess. More stuff, more waste, more. And on the other side, a spiritual path of sacred restraint. Think simplicity, having what you need, and focusing inward. Now this isn't just a lifestyle choice, it's a really deep ethical framework. So let's unpack the problem that it's actually trying to solve. Okay, first things first, let's frame the issue. Our sources call our modern condition the crisis of excess. And the core idea here is that all our material abundance, all the stuff we own, is often just a way to mask this kind of internal emptiness. This really sets it up as a universal problem that needs a spiritual fix, not just a material one.
And right at the heart of this entire framework is a foundational verse from the Quran. Now, at first glance, it sounds like simple dietary advice, right? Eat and drink. But that last line, "He does not love those who waste," that changes everything. It turns it into this profound ethical statement. Suddenly, being excessive isn't just inefficient, it's a spiritual problem. It's a behavior that actually puts distance between you and the divine.
So, if wastefulness is, well, unloved, then what's the alternative? Well, the Islamic approach isn't some harsh list of rules and regulations. It's a whole framework that's built on one single, powerful idea: gratitude. The main principle is that if everything you have is a gift, then how you use that gift is a direct reflection of how thankful you are.
Now, to really get this, we need to wrap our heads around one key term: israf. This is a huge concept, and it goes way beyond just, throwing out leftover food. Israf means going past the proper limits in any kind of consumption, whether it's food, your time, or natural resources. It's all about spotting and rejecting that too much mindset.
This prophetic saying really brings it home in a super physical way. It's a powerful, almost blunt reminder that the very first place we feel the harm of our own excess is inside our own bodies. It takes this big, high-level ethical concept and grounds it in the simple, everyday act of eating.
And the principle doesn't just stop with what we eat. Look how it expands outward. If stuffing your stomach is a problem, what about wasting something that seems totally limitless, like water from a flowing river? This saying shows that the rule isn't about scarcity. Nope, even when you're surrounded by abundance, the discipline to avoid israf is still there. It's an internal thing, you see, not just an external calculation.
So you see how this all connects back to one central idea, that every single resource, from the food on our plate to the water in our taps, is considered rizq, a divine provision, a gift. And when you look at it that way, restraint isn't about punishing yourself. It's about a fundamental shift in how we see things, moving away from greedy ownership and towards grateful stewardship.
Okay, so those are the principles, but what does this actually look like in a real person's life? Well, the tradition points to the life of the Prophet Muhammad as the ultimate blueprint in action. A real, tangible, human example of living out these ideals.
The stories from his life are just full of examples like these. And as you look at this list, notice the pattern. This isn't just about saving a buck, repairing your own shoes, eating simply, rejecting clutter. Every single one of these actions builds on a sense of self-sufficiency and real contentment. It points to a life where value wasn't found in what you owned, but in your purpose.
And that entire philosophy is captured so perfectly in this one saying: live in this world like you're a stranger or a traveler. I mean, think about it. A traveler, by definition, has to travel light. They don't collect things they can't carry. It's a metaphor that reframes our whole lives as this temporary journey, and it shifts our focus from collecting stuff to reaching a spiritual destination.
Now, this is a really critical point for our modern minds to grasp. The sources are so clear on this. This kind of simplicity is not about poverty or depriving yourself. It's actually presented as a kind of liberation. It's freedom from the burden of too much stuff, which in turn gives you a much clearer sense of purpose.
Okay, this is a beautiful philosophy, but let's ask the real question. How does this ancient wisdom actually help us today? When we're staring down modern challenges like climate change and resource depletion, what does a blueprint like this really offer?
Let's connect the dots.
So the tradition gives us this really clear 4-step blueprint for finding balance. It kicks off with wasatiyah, which is all about moderation in how we use things. That sense of moderation naturally leads to shukr, or gratitude, which can turn even simple, mindful consumption into an act of worship. Then that gratitude inspires sadaqah, or charity, where we share any extra we have with people who need it. And the whole thing operates under this incredible concept of khilafah, the idea that we aren't owners of the earth, we're its caretakers, its stewards.
And this isn't just some old theory, you know? Look at how these principles are actually being used right now today. We've got green mosques, using solar power and aiming for zero waste. That's stewardship in action. We see Islamic farming methods focusing on renewing the soil. Again, stewardship. And then there's this idea of eco-Zakāh, where the principle of charity is used to fund projects that restore the environment. This is ancient wisdom powering very modern solutions.
All right, so we've traveled from the modern crisis of more, all the way to a timeless blueprint for finding balance. To wrap this all up, let's shift from just understanding these ideas to actually applying them. And we'll do that with one final personal question.
So I want to leave you with this thought. What if every choice we made, what we decide to buy, what we eat, what we use, could be about more than just filling a need? What if our consumption could actually become a path to connection, a way to nourish not just our bodies but our souls? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.